Guys, Master here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at Dark King Fu at 55%. I decided to do one for him as well as Vegito and Rose because he's one of the units that I saw people being kind of on the fence about whether or not he would actually be good. So I thought it'd be worth taking a look to see how he will be at 55% because I think he could be a very good utility, very good support unit for the Heroes team in general, right? So mine is 55%. I did open the extra paths, but I left him at 55% for this showcase. So he is not one of the 200% leaders, right? It's only Rose and Vegito, so he has a Battle of Wits leader skill 130. His super attack is raised defense for 1 turn, does supreme damage and seals super attacks. And then his passive, attack and defense 150, additional attack and defense 150 when performing a super. Extreme allies, attack and defense 30%. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type, excluding STR to STR, when there are another 3 or more crossover allies on the team. So again, like Rose, it's another, so it's 3 units other than him. Then he gets an additional 100% attack as long as he picks up 1 STR orb. And then he gets, one attack with 1 orb. Chance to dodge, 10% up to 50. Extreme class allies, 1 key up to 5. And an additional attack and defense 4% up to 20 per STR or rainbow orb obtained. Whichever key sphere is collected more will be counted. So basically you have to pick up 5 STR orbs to get his maximum buff, which will be 50% chance to dodge, the 20% support and 5 key. But I feel like you don't necessarily need to get the 5 all the time for him to be good, right? Now obviously if a unit's only defensive tech was that they had, say, 30% chance to dodge, that's not ideal, but if he's picking up 3 orbs and he's getting that 30% chance to dodge on top of everything else that he does, because bear in mind he'll also be getting an extra 12% support, he gives 30% already, obviously he benefits from getting all of that support himself as well, he should be looking pretty good. He is a Big Bad Bosses unit, so obviously that is going to make a big difference. These units, 55%, I took them into a few events while we were farming the rest of the medals, but Big Bad Bosses is not going to be active unless we start losing some HP. However, we can see he's at 186k defense at the start of turn. Now, bear in mind, he's going to raise defense by 30% on super, as well as getting 150% from his passive. So 150% from his passive is what, like 270 extra? So he's still going up to post-super almost 500k, or with the super attack effect as well, basically 500k. And we can get 4 orbs here, because it doesn't mean 4 orbs and a rainbow counts as 5. It did say whichever one you get the most of is the one that counts, right? So 4 orbs, that means everybody else is getting an extra 16% support, as well as 4 key, which, I mean, for the Heroes team, that's not really necessary. But imagine teams where you're running him with some, like, other LRs. Every STR orb you're picking up, he's giving all of the units on the rotation extra key. So that is pretty useful. His best link partner is going to be Hearts. Cold Judgment, obviously good for defense. Brainiacs, Fierce Battle, and then Big Bad Bosses. When that is high enough level to be active all the time, that's another 25% to stats. Now, bear in mind, after we pick up the orbs, his support went up. So he's up to almost 200k. So yeah, he is going to be looking pretty solid after super attacking here. And when you consider that, I've put him in slot 1 here, just because this is like his showcase. But you're probably more often than not going to be running him as a floating support unit. Now, I have seen obviously some concerns. That's where people are sort of concerned about the orb changing for him, is you obviously change orbs at the start of the turn, and then he's going to want to pick up those orbs, which is going to mean you're kind of having to maneuver around them with the other units. But the thing is, because he provides so much key with his support, nobody else on the rotation is going to need orbs. So hopefully we can get a good example of that on the next rotation that we have him. And you should be able to see a decent example of a situation. Like, I'll keep him on rotation anyway, but we can obviously show, like, from the way the orbs are laid out, how it would be affected, like, in a normal run. And you should see, hopefully, that it should not really cause that much of an issue. So, I mean, just by seeing those numbers on the first turn, I actually am quite impressed with. I honestly didn't think his numbers would be that high. I'm not saying he's like, oh my god, look how super amazing, like, busted he is at 55%. But, like, I was expecting numbers a little bit lower than that. Like, 200k start of turn, Sure, he's not going to be super great against AoEs, but by picking up the orbs, he is getting the dodge chance. So you'd obviously ideally want to get lucky dodging the, dodging the AoE attack. Then he gets his super off, and that's when he's then looking pretty solid for defense. Like, even at 55%, like, he'll tank the Inzamasu. Like, obviously, we want him to dodge the AoE, but then he'll tank the normal attack relatively well after he super attacks. He's not going to be doing great at eating supers, but, I mean, let's be honest, what, like, 55% unit in the game is good at taking supers from Fusion Zamasu? But this is the example that I wanted to talk about with his key. So, you can see here on this rotation, let's put him in the middle just to really show, like, because we get some extra links with Rose as well. Our health is low enough to have Big Bad Bosses active. So you can see here, Hearts needs 3 key. But if I go ahead and do this, Hearts obviously doesn't get all the key that he needs. Now, if Fu was in slot 3, I could also go ahead and do this, which would drop the STR orb down to the bottom. But then Fu would be picking up 5 STR orbs, which means he'd be giving everyone on the rotation 5 key. So then Hearts is going to super anyway. Now, we actually got the full potential 5 orbs, so everyone's getting 5 key, he's getting 50% chance to dodge, and everyone else is getting another 20% support. So you can see now he's at 200k start of turn, which means he's going up to over 500k defense now when he super attacks, which is very, very good. And this rotation will be very strong defensively, because like Hearts has guard, obviously Fu has type advantage anyway, I mean so does Hearts. Rose has guard because it's the full crossover team. So, I mean, he's looking pretty good. I mean, this obviously we're not in a super hard event because we're just taking him out for the initial showcase here at 55%, not fully link leveled. And he's not only is he doing all of that support for the team, but then he's also dropping a 6 million attack stat basically in slot 3 as well. So, if you do pull this guy and you pull dupes, I think I would go with the normal kind of support unit route where I would probably just give him a ton of extra dodge. And then any extra, because he's not really a unit that you're bringing on the team to do damage, he's going to have level 5 crit anyway because he's an STR unit. I would just go ahead and give him all the rest extra in additional. So full dodge, all the rest in additional, because he does raise defense for 1 turn, right? So obviously, ideally, he gets an additional super, gives himself a little bit of extra defense, but primarily the rest of his ability is dodge, because if you combine that, even though they don't stack, like imagine the turn you pick up 5 orbs, if you've given him 20 dodge in the hidden potential as well, thanks to skill orbs and stuff like that, he's got a 50% chance to dodge and a separate 20% chance to dodge, whilst also having, you know, after he's got dupes and everything, maybe up to like 650k defense. Pretty good overall. And then obviously with Toa, we're going to share some extra links as well, like Demonic Power. Is that really the only one? He doesn't have Master of Magic. Well, I guess he's the Demon Lord now, so he doesn't have it. Does Hearts have... You know what, let's transform Hearts. Why not? He gets key this turn. Then we can do this. Drop these down. 5 STR orbs for Fu again. Like, it's really not that difficult to manage the field to get orbs for Fu when nobody else on the rotation needs key. Because especially on the Heroes team where there aren't any LRs, like almost every unit on these rotations is only going to need like 1 or 2 key to super. So Fu is going to give that all to them when he gets the orbs anyway. So I actually don't think... And the only time it will cause an issue is if he changes an orb type that then means it's impossible for you to not grab like all the orbs, right? Like if it changes all the bottom row and then some of the ones above it all change to STR. So obviously you have no choice, but with the first unit on the rotation, it's going to pick those up. But even then, there are ways to sort of maneuver around that, right? Like if it's all the bottom orbs and then it's going up on the right side, you can click on the lower left side to leave the right side ones there. So, I mean, I don't think... We'll obviously, you know, we're going to use him more, take him into a bunch of other events, and we'll see how he goes, like, throughout play testing in multiple different events. But I actually don't think, after seeing him in action, like, I really don't think it's going to be that difficult to get STR orbs for him, even if he is a floating support unit, just because of how easily you can play out the rotation, because nobody else on the rotation needs key. So I think he's looking very, very good at 55%. Like, these 55% videos were mainly for people who were wondering whether it was worth summoning on the Heroes banner because they weren't planning to go crazy. And so obviously if you do a few multis, you might only pull 1 or 2 copies of some of these new units. And is it going to be worth it? Now, I didn't want to do one for Broly or Vegeta because they are the two worst ones out of the 5. They're really not going to be that great at 55%. So that is the risk you take, of course, if you do decide to do like 2 or 3 multis only, and you only end up pulling like Vegeta, Limit Breaker Broly, and maybe like Golden Cooler or you know, Janemba. But I mean, they're not terrible units. They're just not going to be like the best ones out of the group, right? So Fu at 55%. Definitely seems very, very solid. Okay, so we're getting one last turn in with Fu here. Unfortunately, due to my neighbors apparently deciding to remodel their entire house next door and making a ton of noise in the background, I had muted the mic and cut the recording briefly so we could go back to the start of this turn. And of course, in all of the confusion, I should say, I mean, I'm still a bit ill, in getting all of that sorted, once we got back to a point where I thought maybe they were going to be quiet for a little bit, I jumped back into recording straight away and did not unmute my microphone. So this whole last part of the video, the mic was muted the whole time. So I'm just going to summarize my thoughts here as we played out this last turn. So basically, Fu at 55%, I'm pretty impressed, right? He is a unit that is going to be primarily used as a floating support. I think we've shown in this video it's not going to be difficult to save the STR orbs for him unless you do get like a really awkward rotation. So I think that he is going to be very, very effective. Even on this rotation, for example, we're against the AGL Freezer. This Dark King Fu, 55%, not level 10 links. After getting his super attack here, just the one super, he's over 500k defense. And because we picked up 5 STR orbs, he has a 50% chance to dodge. So he dodges the super, which, you know, all to be clear, like, that super would probably just kill him because it's type disadvantage. And 500k defense with no other defensive tech is obviously not really enough to tank type disadvantage supers. But you know, he's a support unit archetype. Him dying to a red zone boss type disadvantage super, I don't think is a huge indictment to his overall quality. But remember, once he is level 10 links, he will have big bad bosses active, which is another 25% defense on top of that. He would probably still die to an AGL boss super, but just in terms of his overall performance, like, his defense is going to be very high after supering. If you do get dupes or you put in skill orbs and he actually gets an additional super, his defense is going to be even higher. And of course, you have that 50% chance to dodge. I think I said already, like, if you do get dupes, I think dodge is the way to go for him anyway. So I feel like he's going to be really, really useful for these heroes teams as a third slot floating unit. I'm just super looking forward to getting all of these guys now fully maxed out. I'm not doing 55% showcases for Vegeta and Broly. I will do the, well, rainbow one for Broly. I only got Vegeta to 90%. Considering I got everything else I wanted, I'm not going to chase one copy of the worst unit on the banner when I don't need any copies of anybody else. But I'm very happy that I actually did get to see Fu at 55%, because for anyone on the fence about how good he is, especially I saw people doubting whether he would be good like Rainbow Link level 10. And I feel like this 55% showcase is a pretty good showing of how well he can do, even only at 55%. So once he is Rainbow level 10 links, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing how well he performs in the toughest content, along with the other heroes units as well. So let me know what you guys think of Fu down below. If you do go in and summon on the heroes banner, I think any of these three main headliner units are going to be very good at 55%. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.